Hello, my name is Scott Ingram, and I'd like to welcome you to 2030 Lab 10 Configuring Network Health. First of all, on our agenda today, we'll be installing Active Directory certificates. Then we'll be configuring certificate revocation. Then we'll be configuring certificate templates. Then we'll be configuring certificate enrollment. And finally, we will prove that the SSL connection works. So, let's get started. Alright, the first thing we're going to be working on is installing Active Directory services. As you can see, we're already a member of the LucenaryPublishing.com domain. We're going to click Add Roles. We're going to go Next. And first of all, we're going to be adding the Active Directory certificate services. Click here. So we will click Next, and the Introduction to Active Directory Certificate Services appears. We'll go ahead and click Next. We're going to keep our default of Certificate Authority and click Next. We're going to select the Enterprise on the specify the setup type, and we're going to click Next. We're going to select the root CA type radio button on the specify the CA type and click Next. We're going to keep the default of create a new private key on the setup private key and click Next. Now we're going to the configure cryptography for the CA. There's lots of different things you can do there, but we're instructed to keep the default values, so we're going to click Next. Alright, we're supposed to turn this to W2K801, so we're going to keep that and go Next. We're going to accept the default value of 5 years. We're going to accept the default values for the database. And now we're going to install the Active Directory certificate roles. And we see that the installation has succeeded, so we're going to click Close, and Active Directory certificate services have been installed. Now we're going to move on to exercise 2. We're going to be configuring certificate revocation. First thing we'll do is we'll go back into our server manager. We'll drill down to the roles here, and then we'll drill down to Active Directory certificate services. And what we want to do is to add role services. So here we are under add role services. We're going to place a check mark next to the online responder. It tells us that there are add role services and features required for our online responder. We're going to add those required role services, and then we're going to click Next to continue. And the introduction to a web server, IIS, appears to us. We see that information, and we're going to click Next. We're going to accept all these default values for our web server, and we're going to click Next. When you see the confirm installation selections, we are going to agree with those, and we're going to click Install to install the online responder role service. We see that the installation has succeeded, and so we will move on. I'm going to drill down to our roles again, to our Active Directory certificate services. We're going to open that up, and we see that the online responder is there. We're going to go down here to certificate templates. Okay, we're going to right click on the OCSP response signing template, and we're going to click the properties. We're going to select the security tab. We're going to add. We're going to select the object types, and we're going to click computers here and click OK. We're going to type in our W2K801 computer. We're going to click check names, and it does. We're going to click OK. We're going to place a check mark next to enroll as well as auto enroll under this allow column, and we're going to click OK. Alright, now we will go up to Certificate Templates under the Windows 2008-01 CA, and we'll click New, Certificate Template to Issue. We'll find the OCSP Response Signing and Certificate Template, and we will click OK. Close this up. We'll go down to our Online Responder. Here's Revocation Configuration. And we're going to right click that and click to add revocation configuration. Here's the getting started screen. We're going to look over that and then click next. Alright, we've entered the name of this revocation configuration screen, so we're going to type in what they've told us to, Windows 2008-01 CA with a rev. Click next. We're going to use the select a certificate for an existing enterprise CA, which is the Lucerne, and we're going to click next. Choose the CA certificate screen shows up. The browse CA certificates will be published in Active Directory, and then we're going to click browse to where at. We see that the Windows 2008-01 CA has been selected. So now we're going to click OK and click Next to continue. Alright, it's telling us to select the signing certificate. We're checking to see that it will automatically select the signing certificate. It's auto-enrolled for an OCSP signing certificate. Here's the certification authority, and here's the certificate template that we're using. We'll click Next. Ready? So now we're going to click Finish to configure the revocation configuration. We're going to go down to the Windows 2008-01 CA. We're going to go to Issued Certificates. And we'll confirm that that OCSP Response Signing Certificate has been issued to the Certificate Authority. So right there it is. Alright, now we're going to configure some certificate templates, specifically a web server certificate template. To get there, we go through the roles of the Active Directory Certificate Services, the Online Responder, down to those certificate templates once again. Here on the web server, we'll right-click on it and click Properties. We'll go into the Security tab. We are going to Add. We're going to click on the Object Type, and we're going to add computers to the objects that we're going to be using. We're going to type in the name of our computer, check names, and we will click OK. We're going to place a check mark right here and to allow the W2K801 to enroll, and then click OK. Now we're going to right click that web server template. We're going to click to duplicate the template. Since we're running Windows Server 2008, we're going to click on that, and when we create our duplicate template, it'll be for a Windows Server 2008 Enterprise Edition. Here's the template display name to Windows 2008-01 Web Server Cert. We're going to publish the certificate in Active Directory. And then we're going to select the Security tab. We're going to click Add. We're going to go under Object Types. We're going to put a check mark next to Computers once again and click OK. We're going to check for the Windows 2008-01 computer. There it is again. We're going to click OK. We're going to place a check next to Enroll, and this time we get to check one next to Auto Enroll also, under the Allow column for the Windows 2008-01 computer. We're going to go up and check the Superseded Templates tab. We're going to add to it. We're going to check that Web Server template and click OK. And then we will click OK. And we see the Windows 2008-01 Web Server Cert is right here. Now we will seek to issue that certificate. We'll go into the Windows 2008-01 CA. We'll go to Certificate Templates. We'll go to New, Certificate Template to Issue. We'll go down to the one that we created, which is the Windows 2008-01 Web Server Cert. We'll click on it and click OK. Right now we're going to be installing the Certificate Authority Web Enrollment Role Service. To do that, we go into Server Manager Roles, Active Directory Certificate Services. Right click on that and we will click Add Role Service. When we get there, we see there's our Certificate Authority Web Enrollment. Click on that. There are some required role services that we need to add to it, so we will add those. And then we will click Next to continue. This is the introduction to the web server, IIS. We'll click Next. We're going to accept the default IIS features to install. We're going to click Next. So now we're going to install. And we'll give it a minute to install. It is installed successfully. We'll click Close. We're going to click on the Start button. We're going to go into Administrative Tools. And then we will go into the IIS Manager. We're going to double click the 801 node. We're going to go down to the Server Certificates icon. And we're going to double click it. And we're going to click on Create Domain Certificate. We have filled in the required information about Lucerne Publishing. So now we will click Next. We are on the Online Certificate Authority. We're going to that CA that we created. We're going to click on it and click OK. We have typed in Windows 2008-01.lucernepublishing.com into our friendly name, and we will click Finish. And we have our server certificate for the domain. We're going to go and expand out the Sites node. We're going to right-click the default website. We're going to go down and choose to Edit Bindings. The site binding screen will appear, and we're going to click Add. We're going to set up HTTPS. We're going to select the Windows 2008-01 LucernePublishing.com for our SSL certificate. We're going to click OK, and then we're going to click Close. Okay, we're going to go on down our default website, down to our Cert SRV node. We're going to double click on it, and we're going to double click on our SSL settings. And we're going to place a check mark here so we can require SSL. And we're going to click this to apply that in the Actions pane. And the changes have been successfully saved. Alright, the last thing we're supposed to be doing is checking to see that SSL is working. So we have went to the 802 computer, and we have typed in HTTPS, and we're going to try to connect with that address and now prove that SSL is working. It tells us we're about to view the pages over a secure connection, so we'll click OK. Now we're able to get through, but it doesn't like the certificate. There's a certificate error. Here's a security report. It says it's an untrusted certificate. That's because we issued ourselves, and we're not any special person that's handing out certificates. So we'll view the certificate. As you can see right here, it was issued by 801CA. So there's our certificate, certificate authority, the version, and right there, w2k801lucernepublishing.com is a domain certificate. So we have completed the final task, and we thank you for watching this tutorial.